Money's an interesting one.
I was just going to ask you. I want to talk about money because
for most people, it seems like it's going to be the least provocative. Like with work, everybody knows they've got issues around work, and we don't mind talking about it. Oh, I've got this problem at work, and then so we know we've got issues around work, and we'll happily talk about them.
Yeah.
Sex and intimacy is different than that, in as much as we know we have issues around it, but we don't like to talk about them so much.
And we know to talk about it, yeah.
So they tend to be a little more underground.
Yeah.
The specific thing with money is we don't even know we've got issues around money. Or we think we've got a simple issue, which is we'd like a bit more of it, or something.
You see, the money one, it really interests me as well, having over the years had somewhat of a foot in the kind of more personal development kind of world, and I guess a larger foot in the more kind of spiritual kind of exploration kind of world. And in the personal development world, bordering into the more spiritual, there's a lot of what for me is, I guess I would say, nonsense around, follow your path and the money will come. And there's a kind of worshipping of money as a thing of, the more money you have, the more developed you are in some way. And then we have this kind of odd territory in between, let's say, which I find odd. And then there's the place where almost money is kind of wrong and you shouldn't have too much, but then not having money causes a whole set of stresses and pressures, especially people raising children. It's hugely difficult if you haven't got enough to support that structure. So I'm curious as to, as you've been running these groups and talking about money, like what's the response to that? And
well, like I said, partly the response is people realizing that it's much more. It's got a lot more charge than they thought it had, and mostly that's exploring how our relationship with money shows us so much about our relationship with life in general.
Yeah,
that it's actually when you see how you are with money and whether the degree to which you move towards or away from or just kind of check out. Some people don't really know much about what there's going on in their financial life. Those are the three movements, right?
Yes.
They tend to be the more, what we might call the worldly movement of wanting more.
Kind of grabbing.
What within the Buddhist tradition you'd call the more grasping relationship, or the more aversive relationship, right? Which is the more sort of pseudo-spiritual, money's impure and unspiritual, and I'm going to do without, and as if there's some great virtue in not having much money or something. And then there's just the sort of confused, deluded, unconscious relationship where I just don't like to think about it. Yeah. And then people getting to see how those movements reflect, something to do with confidence, something to do with actually a sense of prosperity in life, a sense of buoyancy in life, a sense of the degree to which one trusts one's capacity to be in life, to listen to life, to respond to life, and to feel kind of buoyant within life, supported by life. And though that's kind of like wealth, the word wealth, if I just think of it with a slightly different spelling, with the W-E-L-L, wealth. And also the word prosperity. We tend to think of both of those words in purely financial terms.
Yes.
But actually, what I've found is investigating one's relationship with money, as it frees up, the sense of prosperity, of feeling the blessings of life, of existing in a condition of appreciation and gratitude, feeling one's own capacity to be generous and kind of at ease around money. That's what really frees up, much more significantly than the stuff about how much of it one has. One's capacity to feel prosperous and buoyant and at ease isn't very much to do with whether one has this much or that much. One can live within one's means in a very, in a great bandwidth of what those means are.
Yes.
But often we're living at the edge of our means, or we're living as if things would be better if only I had 10 or 20% more means, which far from buoyancy or prosperity conditions a sense of lack, a sense of insecurity, a sense of neediness. And stuff isn't just about money, that's about how we relate to all kinds of things.